Help me, please.
Nobody cares about us, so why should I care about anybody?
Is this familiar to you?
No, it's the first time I've heard it.
Everyone's looking at us, Sheriff. You sure you know what you're doing?
May I ask for your assistance?
I have nothing to say, because I don't know. Check with someone else.
Is this familiar to you?
I'll tell you what I know, my friend.
Beasts!
Murderers!
They're completely livid.
First they come to our land.
Where do you think you're
then they
going?
murder our
Speak with the
people.
Sir, this place is off limits to the public. Please state your business or leave.
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm
A private investigator? Really?
and you...
I'm Ronald Harlow, here to handle the refugee situation on behalf of City Hall. So I have full authority here to ask you to leave, or I shall order the police.
What about the murder that this crowd...
It's mere assumption. I assure...
I know you want to deal with this in the right way. You are obviously a professional and a responsible person, but you clearly...
I am handling it, Mr. Holmes. Don't question my capability.
And tell me how you do. You can't even calm this gathered crowd, and as for the police, they're not quite managing it either, are they? You consider yourself a problem solver, but until today, you've been solving... Here, you need...
What are you...
I can help you to handle the situation if you're truly...
And how exactly...
Simply tell the police that I'm with City Hall, and I'm permitted to... But in return, I need your help finding my witness. She's a young
Look, there is indeed a dead body inside the camp. So even if the girl you are looking for is there, or the refugee, they won't allow you to speak with her. And I can't do anything about that.
So it's in our mutual interest.
Oh. I suppose that things are bad enough that I ought not shy away from help. Just tell me when you...
I'm ready to take...
All right. Go inside the camp. Tell him I sent you. Say you're...
I'll find my way...
Murder! Beasts!
So they keep these refugees under a bridge like proverbial trolls.
Who the hell are you?
Mr. Ronald Harlow, let me in, sir. I'm Sherlock Holmes, a surveyor of refugee affairs with City Hall.
A surveyor?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the colonial...
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food. Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems.
Could you first tell me what happened here?
What happened? People from the bridge above the camp heard a woman screaming and saw a massive wreck. When the camp guards came by, the man was floating in the sewage canal with a knife in his chest. Bam.
I'm sure. And...
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there, near there.
You mentioned a woman screaming who attracted the bypassers on the...
No, she's all right, but perhaps the whole debacle started because of her.
And where is this young woman?
Back there in the shacks, same as the rest of the refugees. She's being questioned by my...
Did you learn anything about...
The fellow looks like a thug. I've had dozens like... Ever since these refugees arrived, there have been people on Cordona with bad... My best bet is that this thug had some...
And no clue...
He had some items on his body, but nothing to indicate.
I think I should catalogue his...
Go on.
Do you have any...
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it coming. Better bury him and forget it. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superior...
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of...
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now. That's why I have to waste my time waiting for my people to turn.
Here we go again. Number of hours on Cordona.
Clearly a left
Stumbling upon
handprint
another
here.
Dead body. 0.
A furrow in the ground. A blood trail leading to or from the canal. Someone bled profusely here. A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently. Malpal, soaked with salt water. A simple leather sheath, perfect for a dirk. £1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British currency isn't very common in Cordona.
Are these the rations the refugees get from the authorities? How do people even survive out here?
Coal dust under the nails. I don't see much coal around here. An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something? A steel dirk, sharp. A common accessory among sailors and soldiers. I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however the wound is too messy to be certain. Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other. This man was limping John. A violent death. This man, limping. Coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John.
If they find out about the passage, everything. If they find out
Sherry,
about
just look at this. Living quarters in a sewer.
Nobody will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
The coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps we should sniff around in the camp a little more thoroughly.
The blood sprayed off the blade after the strike. No hint of blood or impact. It might have been used as an improvised weapon. Someone was dragged against their will.
The refugees have been detained and will not leave until all the circumstances are clarified.
You still... I've already told you all I've learned.
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp.
Less than you do.
And this doesn't bother you?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friend... To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If... I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall blubberments.
Mr. Harlow, what exactly do...
What I do, and what I am responsible for, on paper, I'm in charge of the... What I actually do most of the time is knock on every City Hall door trying...
The police here on City Hall...
They are, minus those who came here after the body was found. The governor won't let the refugees disperse, and naturally, they answer directly to the police. I have some influence here, but I'm...
Mr. Harlow, how did the refugees...
Oh, so you're not from...
I've been away for some time, but I read the papers.
Yes, this whole story has been in the papers for almost a year now. They were...
Smuggled? Then
The smugglers managed to sneak them to shore and hide them in... When the police raided the warehouse and found the refugees there, the ship was already gone. We have busy shipping routes with other colonies these days.
so you decided to lock them up on...
There was no other option. I only hope we'll find a humane solution.
Who isn't allowed to visit the crime scene these days?
Could you help me?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment. The cut is deep, potentially serious if not treated immediately. He is in shock, feverish and dehydrated.
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
It won't do any good. I'll use it to create a solution. I can use this to stop the infection from spreading. Nausea and stomach pain is not what he needs now. Just washed. Better than nothing to bandage the wound. I've collated all the ingredients, now to prepare the first aid solution.
Thank you.
This should make you feel better, my friend. Now remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
A man's footprint. Police boots. Always happy to trample evidence. A heavy boot with a worn-out sole. You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? Huh. City Hall lubberheads.
Sealed shut. I doubt our man could get through these grates. A single Malpal butt. Roadman cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers. So there wasn't any sophisticated infiltration plan. The good old police just let the man into the camp. Now we have everything we need to get the full picture of what happened at the camp.
I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? Huh. City Hall lubberheads.
Back off.
Could you help me?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Could you help me?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
You obviously haven't thought this all through. Or are you just annoying these people on purpose? We have seen some dark places in Cordona, but this... You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate. You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
So, we have a thug who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force. One of the refugees stood in his way, armed with a stick, yet he could do nothing against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled. He was stopped by the falling crates. He stumbled and fell, piercing his chest with his own blade. However, the wound didn't cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell. Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. In our man's case, it's the same sword.
You still here?
Inspector, I believe I can aid your investigation.
You do? Well, good for you. But I'm afraid I'm not the one you need to share. Speak to Mr. Harlow here.
You don't even care to...
Oh, I do care. Maybe even more than I need to. It's sad, but coming up with conclusions is not among my tasks here. Anyway, speak to the supervisor. I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall lubberheads.
Mr. Harlow, you're...
What?
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for...
Oh.
The man came to the camp intending to kidnap one of your refugees, a woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man's...
How do you know he fell on his own...
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offense, and judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately fell into the canal.
But how did he sneak into the camp?
And this is where you're...
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is...
The pile of mess I had to sort out has just become bigger, but somehow that doesn't surprise me. Meanwhile, I'll make sure the police aren't detaining the refugees any longer.
You think one small clock can make any difference in this place?
Who knows, John? Just one ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble. Can I ask you a question?
They often take us from the camp to work. Most don't mind, though. It's the only way to get a glimpse of freedom.
So there's a smuggling ring in the camp. This wasn't the first time that someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
At least it was certainly his last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the thug came from.
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
I owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
You're disturbing a hornet's nest here, son.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
Are you able to help me?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
You obviously haven't thought this all through. Or are you just annoying these people on purpose?
You're the one who tended to our man's wounds.
The police will leave you alone now.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody...
Yes, I do.
The dead man came for her too. What do you want?
Naylor. She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to... And to find them, I need Naylor's help.
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But
Hello, Naylor? My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please. There is a photograph, and I'm sorry, it is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people? Christ, Sherlock. Naylor, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
You come here for me, but you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had this cross. Now go away. Leave us be. I do not need another white man's help.
Oh, glad that wasn't me.
Not my best work, John, by a long shot. Naylor doesn't want us meddling. I'm starting to wonder what this all achieves.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
I owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
You still... Don't bother someone else with this, son.
The intruder has a most peculiar tattoo on his...
You really want to know, kid?
I'm sure you have it in your records.
In my records, it's just... to hell with you. Off the record, though, such tattoos are often connected...
Bernadotte?
A respectable businessman in Scaladio. His company import... His people can be identified by an obscure... But these are all merely rumors, you see. If...
I'm curious, how did Mycroft recruit you?
That's correct. Your brother noticed me when I tracked down a spy. And you?
Not at all, we simply have...
Of course.
Well, I'm his younger brother, I have to...
I suppose, in a way, we are...
In the remotest way possible.
Have you found anything helpful?
If you're here on matters of signing up for military service, come back tomorrow. Why are you staring at me like I'm a Madame Tussauds figure?
On my way here, I was wondering whether you might regret what you did. I had hoped that you would hear her scream, see her face in your dreams, or at least...
Who?
Neither of my hope...
Why you...
Do you recognize this man?
We definitely...
Really? Then you won't mind if I pass this along to the...
All right. All right. Is this about money, as you...
I've never written a single word to you. Bribery.
So, that
Well, it appears that more and more people in the city are finding out about your You're in the clutches of justice, and very soon they...
Fine. I suppose now we...
Sherlock Holmes.
Shame. All the best discussions are accompanied by a glass of whiskey.
Respect.
Where are my manners? My name is Thomas Norton. So...
You mentioned Black...
All right. A couple of days ago, I received an anonymous... The blackmailer made it clear that if there is a painting, then a photograph exists too.
What does the blackmailer...
Money, of course. What else do such people want? Up until the last moment, I hoped he was bluffing. I burnt it as soon as I read it. I've left enough evidence.
So, let's return to the beginning.
I vaguely remember that night. As usual at such parties, you meet people, you talk... What can I say? I got myself mixed up with the... I completely lost my...
You don't say. Do refugee girls often appear on the menu?
It's...
So you didn't attend the party to engage in an exotic experience involving a vulnerable...
I would never have planned such a terrible thing.
The painting that depicted you in the image...
I might be a rotten person, sir, but hiring...
And buying the painting in an attempt to hide...
What would you do in my...
I would never put myself...
You're young. I could never have imagined myself in my current... We all make mistakes, Mr...
Boniface Mercurio, does the name mean...
He's an art...
The one responsible for the painting that compromises you.
Oh, that is bad.
You had motive?
Maybe I did, but listen. I know how this looks, but... Well, him, yes, I thought he could have been the blackmailer. There were plenty of ways to fail by making a move, so I chose to wait. To see what he would do next. You have to believe...
I don't believe people, I believe evidence.
Then look... Mr. Holmes, I made a mistake. But I'm not a villain from some cheap adventure fiction.
Rotting in prison is the least you deserve, but you will make amends and... Use your connections... Holmes, give them jobs. There must be...
Yes, all right.
That's... Naylor deserves the very...
Help the girl? I can't risk the...
I need to think this all through. Don't do anything.
What makes you think you can decide what's best for these people?
Such is the arrogance of British imperialism. I take your point.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
I've brought news, but...
Fill me in, Mr.
I located the thief, but found him rather...
Huh, he's dead. How?
It was an accident at the refuge.
Life is nothing if...
I tracked down...
I presume he wasn't delighted.
He was not having a good day on account of his murder.
Oh, sweet Mercurio. What about the stolen painting?
I found the source of Mercurio's artistic inspiration. A photograph.
She was violated?
Her abuser was in fact the British envoy. Mercurio took a picture of him committing the atrocity and then used...
I had no idea. A mere...
Unfortunately, I could not...
Oh, Mr. Holmes, such disappointing news.
I'm afraid the case...
I suppose if you were unable to find it, no... Oh, but I can tell. You learned something.
Mr. Vogel, I want you to make everything public, including the photograph.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, loyal to your own... is sensational, and will surely draw... But you must be aware that exposing the scandal will further hurt the victim.
No matter what one does, the truth tends to come out, as well it should.
Though it's only your subjective truth being exposed. Not that I'm judging.
When you called me, you knew exactly...
Oh, but I'm not like you, Mr. Holmes. I cannot be... Well, now that we've resolved all of our outstanding matters, I have a gift for you. I am told it belongs...
And what...
Frankly, I'm not sure how to...
Previously, you mentioned there may have been more to my mother's part. Thank you, Mr. Vogel.
Just look at this thing. It's huge.
It's a bizarre object, and yet oddly familiar.
Did you just remember something?
Yes. A room full of curiosities and artifacts. I think I can find it in the manor.
Sherlock. So, you continue to pursue the imaginary. I had hoped you might have got all this out of your system by now.
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Get out of my house.
It's my house, actually. I've come to bring you back.
I have no interest in returning, let alone with you. I know you lied about Mother all these years, claiming she was merely ill, but she was unstable. She never had tuberculosis. She was not recuperating, but mentally deteriorating, and you never once thought to tell me. How dare you?
I shall not indulge this petulant tantrum. You can just tire yourself out and then slink back to London with your tail between your legs.
Just tell me everything. I'm an adult now. Show me the basic courtesy of an explanation.
The goal was stability, and that's what you got. The right thing for everyone was to try and...
The consequences of one's actions deter...
Yes, exactly. The ends justify the means. In London, I was able to support you, guide you, shape you into a fine and productive young man.
But that's not the end. Now I found the truth, and it has shattered everything I knew about her, I feel unstable because of you.
Oh, grow up, Sherlock. It was a white lie which has as much use in the realm of the interpersonal.
Oh, you are full of it. You like to pretend you care about the big picture, but it's just... You like knowing more than others. You like greasing palms and rubbing shoulders with the rich and powerful. You like having eyes...
It's true. I have agents everywhere, including Cordona. If you're stubborn, you'd realize that means I'm only...
I remember returning home with a pair of perfect sticks. We wanted to turn them into training swords.
Oh, that's right. We stood there, frozen, staring at something huge in the main hall. It was a giant aquarium with a living mermaid in it.
Impossible. It must have been something else. Oh, of course, that mortifying hoax presently taking up space in our front yard.
Well, fine. Your memory's better than mine. But I'm sure we started examining it immediately. And someone else was around too.
It was my mother. She asked what I thought of the artifact.
You were really concentrating and holding something in your hand.
I inspected it with a magnifying glass and was able to confirm it was made of two different skeletons. The mermaid was a fake.
And so it was time to smash the thing. Your mother took a hammer and...
Slow down, John. That's not how it happened. I remember other people joined us. The workers took the artifact and placed it into the Cabinet of Curiosities. It became part of Mother's collection of fakes. She always said that the truth lies in the details. This mermaid helped me to learn that. The local justice system in all its glory. Ah yes, my mother's studio. She was an authenticator, and this was her Cabinet of Curiosities.
I never saw the point.
Cozy blanket.
What does it matter if some artifact is real? Wigwam! Oh, that was a joy to build them. Imagining ourselves as wayfarers on the other side of the world.
A full collection. It's somehow so satisfying.
Look, it's Roger. This jolly old man's well preserved. Even looks refreshed.
I doubt he drew much interest at the auction.
That's for the best. I'd be upset if he fell into the wrong hands.
The so-called mummy of a Persian princess. The defrauders did good work, but missed one small detail. It's the mummy of a man. And this one was brought from a German museum. They claimed it belonged to Vikings. Nonsense, of course. Vikings never had horns on their helmets. Clearly, it was deliberately torn. Wonder why someone would do that. The Tulpa, Studies in Tibetan Mentalism. An impressive number of bookmarks. Someone was rather obsessed with this subject. The full plate armour of Sir Robert Sauntford. I was told my father won it in a wager.
Armour is armour. I wanted to wield the blade. Maybe you take it instead of your pistol.
Mother said this was among the hunting trophies of a Scottish Viscount.
So he tried to persuade everyone that his forest was inhabited by these beasts. It would have been thrilling if it were actually true.
One of the most ridiculous fakes I ever saw. Its owner insisted it was a polar bear. He thought the white paint on the brown fur wasn't noticeable. Another fake Holy Grail. Its owner claimed to be the heir of King Arthur. Scarcely believable. Watkinson and Holman, Chapter 1, by Wallace D. Oram.
Oh, Mycroft. He always acts so serious, but then reads tripe like this.
John, if I remember correctly, you couldn't put this book down. I'm not sure I want to hear its horrifying, inhuman howl again. 1852, Bingley, West Yorkshire. This photo caused a lot of fuss. My mother spent some time to prove it was a fake. An archaeological find should be here. I'm not sure I want to hear its horrifying, inhuman howl again.
I wish to be alone.
Killed with one perfect shot to eat. Killed with one
Good day, sir.
Merhaba. Good day to...
And by extension, why are you just...
I came to take the deceased to the cemetery, but caught sight of Mother Nature's bounty and had to drink my... Let me tell you, friend. The sweet sea air...
Do you know what happened?
Officer said there was a duel, shots fired, and then...
So the inspectors...
Of course. Police don't let an undertaker do his work before they...
You mentioned...
It was in the old city ruins. I remember the deceased was very rich. But a coin makes a poor shield, as I always say.
Who died?
Oh, no, mister. It is not...
Not your place. Nonsense.
Death with dignity. That's all we can hope for, sir.
We're done.
This man is no more. He's ceased to be. He's expired and gone to meet his maker. He's a stiff, bereft of life. He
Predictably,
rests
the
in
rumours
peace.
were
You know the
exaggerated.
rest.
The blindfold is intact, with both eyes unharmed. The bullet entered the heart at an angle, implying it was fired from an elevated position. He died instantly. A Webley top-break revolver. Blank cartridges filled with a wax-covered gelatin bullet. Effectively harmless, even at close range, but leaves a nice red splash on impact. A key for a birdcage? I'll take it. Blank cartridges filled with red wax-covered gelatin bullets. A case for dueling Webley A case... The corner of the box is broken.
Gosh, how exciting. I always wanted to be a member of a club. I bet you couldn't join. No good at following orders, are you, Sherry?
Ah, the contest then. I shall prove my blind devotion, so to speak, to their inane rules, and you shall eat your words. A blindfold, discarded or lost. Your opponent was behind you. The duelist eventually reloaded his gun, but all the cartridges were filled with red non-lethal rounds.
I love this place. So peaceful here, yes?
A Lamat revolver, .42 caliber. One chamber is empty, the others are filled with live rounds. Red stains, relatively fresh. The victim was killed by someone up on the wall. It may have been the referee who took advantage of the duelists while they were blindfolded. This seems plausible, but I must consider all options. What if there was another person here?
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate. You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate. You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
The victim was killed by someone up on the wall. There may have been someone else here, a fourth person waiting for an opportunity to strike.
Sometimes I think beauty can... Did he see it all around him, do you think?
The deceased was a member of the...
Never heard of such a thing. You asked?
Enough tomfoolery.
I told you that's his business. No. I'm not sure what to say.
There is more to this case than meets the eye. Abandon your oversimplistic idea.
Oh, that is... The man's name was Eric von Staub. I heard the...
At last.
Did you hear? Did you hear?
I'm guessing you didn't get what you were after. It happens. I always wanted a pet cat. In the police. Let's pretend to be cops, eh? We can just stand around and look confused.
Do you know anything about this?
Sir, I don't know. Try asking someone else.
Miss von Staub is awaiting the police, sir. Perhaps you might visit on another day. Good day, officer. Miss von Staub.
Good day, miss. I regret to disturb you at this tragic time, but...
Oh, officer. I've been waiting. Is his body still in that...
A horrible place. I should introduce you to the Undertaker. But first, you and I shall get to know one another. I am Officer Holmes. I take it you are
Yes, I am.
Nevertheless, there remain some formalities required.
Oh,
Forgive my intrusion, but
I have a weak disposition. It is not so...
But, Miss von Staub, I can tell you suffered new bruises even before the old...
I have nothing more to add, Officer Holmes.
Do you know if Mr. von Staub had any enemies? Someone that may have sought to do him harm?
Enemies? I don't know. My brother's only guests were his friendly contests. but I was not allowed.
Contact.
Eric would practice shooting on the patio, and occasionally friends would join him.
Where were you when your brother...
I was here painting Eric's portrait.
Alas, I needed to... May I take a look at Mr. von Staub?
Please do. Here's the...
Look at those vases, Sherry. Bet they cost a fortune. Would be a shame if someone broke them. Oh, I love it when you're reckless. Were those Limoges porcelain?
You have a keen eye.
Well, I suppose it's yours. Next time, shoot with a blindfold.
An ointment by a Dr. Herbert with a lavender and pine scent. Excellent score. She covered the locked windows with paintings, but the atmosphere remains oppressive. Sad home for a young woman. She covered the locked windows with paintings, but the atmosphere remains oppressive. The end and the beginning. A handsome portrait of Eric. Miss von Staub does have talent. The black paint looks thick. It's been mixed with something. The rounds have been emptied. She covered the locked windows with paintings, but the atmosphere remains oppressive. Sad home for a young woman. This whip is well loved and well used. Sir Barnaby Boddington, 80. A wealthy man in... A typical crest for a league or a guild. Club headquarters, 100 and... Excuse me, just one question.
I'll gladly tell you everything I know, officer.
Good day, officer. Miss von Staub awaits you in her boudoir.
Only German composers feature here. It appears the parents are dearly missed. Our beloved parents, 18...
I beg your pardon?
I found burnt letters in your...
To me?
They appear to be from some of your suitors.
I didn't even know about them. I'm sorry, I don't follow. I don't understand.
It seems you and Mr. Boddington were to be engaged. Were...
Mr. Boddington is... not how... I don't understand.
One of the revolver cases...
I'm not permitted in Eric's quarters.
There is an unfinished portrait of your brother. Why did you add gunpowder?
You entered my room?
It is standard procedure, Miss von Staub. Now, tell me about the...
Eric's art was his shooting, and this painting is my tribute to him. It felt...
May I ask for your assistance?
Sir, you have found the right officer. Here's what I know.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry, but I never heard of this.
Extra, extra! Check the front page. You won't regret it.
Is this familiar to you?
No, sir. I don't know anything about that.
Can I ask you a question?
I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Could you help me?
I cannot be of help, sir. Someone else might know better.
Do you know anything about this?
Don't take